God
Oh, damn it.
damn it.
God damn it is
God
fucking
damn.
right.
Hello. Welcome to the most frustrating show we've ever produced. I love doing this podcast. I really do. But for some reason, all 3 episodes have had their own complications in setup. This one probably being the most egregious because we recorded this episode last week.
This is technically take 3 of this episode. Of this third episode.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we recorded a whole bonus episode that nobody will ever hear.
Because the audio is unsalvageable.
Yeah,
Whoops.
for some reason.
That's my job, folks. I guess I goofed somewhere.
Yeah, Jeremy's totally the one that shit the bed with that. Don't blame anybody else, especially me, who was talking into the mic and should have noticed it on the Audacity line. No, we recorded a whole Oscar prediction podcast, which tough luck if you were the person that really wanted to hear what we thought about the Oscars, because the whole audio line sounded like me talking and then stopping in the middle of what I was saying.
So then if Jeremy and mine's audio is fine, I don't see why we can't post it.
You could hear Oliver really echoey in the background.
Yeah, so if you really want to hear what he says, then just listen harder. Work for it.
If you're a hashtag true fan.
I was probably yelling to begin with, so
Yeah,
you
can't we just
probably
raise
can.
our background audio in between our talking and then just have Oliver,
Well, maybe.
No.
You can probably just cut around what I say. I'll give you the synopsis. I don't
Just
like The
do-
Irishman, but I like the Joker.
Just do a voiceover. What you were saying. If it's
Yeah, I'm just gonna be guessing for most of it. But
I think here I was saying something.
I don't know, I probably talked a lot about how
Fuck the
Robert De
Irishman,
Niro
but
made The
also-
Irishman watchable.
no, Robert De Niro did not make The Irishman watchable. Al Pacino made The Irishman watchable. See, this is why we need my audio on that podcast. Jeremy would have never got that wrong if we recorded a full episode.
We did record it.
Ah, shit.
I just haven't edited it because
Well-
it sucks.
Yeah, and that was even before the audio issue. Ayo.
Ew, we just suck
Red
in
Lobster.
general. Don't listen to us. No, I'm just kidding. Please listen to us because
Please stay. This
These
is the
boys-
only way we will get better.
these boys put a lot of work into setting this up, and I will admit that I do nothing.
That's not true.
I helped Jeremy move the table, and even that was wrong. So I do not
What do you mean
contribute
that was
to the
wrong?
setup. Well, last week I knocked it off the thing, and you yelled at me.
Everybody is not.
I'm sorry that I yelled at you. That wasn't really the intention.
That's okay. I've only held on to it for this long, so
I'll only hold on to it for another month. Don't worry.
just give me a few months.
Eventually, I will.
Just give me maybe a year, and I'll let it go.
Oliver, do you remember in the car earlier we were talking about guilt?
Oh yeah, me and Jeremy had a. Well, here's another thing. Me and Jeremy had a rousing conversation today about Irish guilt. And the reason why was I was talking. So this sounds bad, but let me tell you why. Hold on. So a good friend of ours just had their baby shower. And we were discussing going to their house and eating pizza yesterday.
Do you really want to tell this story? What if somebody listens to it?
It's nobody but us.
What do you mean it's nobody but us?
So I was just going to talk about how I asked about the great pizza debacle.
What about the great pizza debacle?
Okay, so a friend of ours just had their baby shower, and we went over to their house afterwards to have pizza. And usually, the polite thing to do when someone offers you food is to say, "Yes, please, I will have some food." Of course. The problem was that Jeremy and I, since baby showers are a woman thing, and usually the men are not invited because it's not for us because we cannot carry children inside of us.
They do have such thing as co-ed baby showers, though. And honestly, they sound fun, and I think I'd want one.
I would not be opposed to that.
Yeah.
I would go to that.
Right, because I just think that it shouldn't be a female thing. It's
I want to celebrate the baby too.
You're also having a baby. Like, if the man is also having a baby, the other men that are in your lives are also going to love the baby. It doesn't mean like I hate
let's not jump to conclusions.
Connotation that it's a woman's job to love the babies and like love everything that has to do with babies, and men shouldn't have to be involved in that. Like, and I'm not really the type to get like all SJW and like on my soapbox about things, either. But like, what is the thought process? Men shouldn't have to go to baby showers because they'd be bored. Like, I can get bored at a baby shower. I wasn't yesterday because it was a lot of fun, but you know, I have the capacity to be bored just as much as any man does.
It does seem a little unfair.
Yeah.
However,
why would they be? If it's a gathering of your friends, why would you be bored?
Right. Well, I like to see my friends and hang out.
You usually care what
context it is. But I'm just saying, I think that that's the stigma on it, is that you're going to get bored, or men don't know baby stuff, therefore they would not be interested in being at a baby shower. Like, I don't know shit about football, but if you're having a football party, I'm going to go to it. Like, just because I like to be with my friends and I can like get behind it.
But
like,
the stipulation behind that is that me, a man, would be incredibly bored at a football party. Is that what that would be?
I called it a football party.
The football party.
What would you call it?
Well, I guess a Super Bowl watch party.
Well, that's just a Super Bowl.
I guess
what if you're just watching a regular football game?
To me, a football party. So that sigh wasn't like in frustration that you guys didn't know what to call a football party. It was because my iPad crashed. No, I would call a football party to me would be a bunch of guys with a football hanging out and drinking beers. Or women, because that was the premise of this conversation. I suppose.
To be fair,
there you go.
I have been to Super Bowl parties, and I am usually very bored.
That sexism really is just ingrained in society, huh?
I've been to many.
Have you just noticed?
Yeah, congratulations. Welcome to the fucking world. Anyway, I've been to many a Super Bowl party, and I very rarely watch the game, only when I'm forced to because there's nothing else happening. But the reason I go to them is because I like to party. I like
really
to
like
boogie. Like, I don't know.
Commercials and snacks.
Yeah,
to be fair,
snacks.
I usually go to Super Bowl parties where I don't know anybody but my dad. It's boring for me. Sorry, Dad.
It does sound like a dope time.
Okay, so I don't know why we're I somehow in my mind got from baby shower to football party as if those are the diametric opposites here, but
so
I'd like to put on the record
the
that
great pizza debacle, though.
Yes, I would like to put on the record that I did not go to this baby shower because I did not want to.
You were actually at the baby shower for a few moments.
I did go to lift up a box.
Yes,
correct.
You brought a box in.
I saved
and
the
then
day.
you brought my keys.
Just hold it for a little bit. Just lift it up.
Yeah, well, more or less. I took it from the car into the building, and then I held it for like a little while.
Yeah, I want you to know when I have a bridal shower and when I have a baby shower, you are required to be present.
That's fine with me. I'll be
if
present.
I ever have a baby shower. God knows we don't want children.
Oh yeah, I don't want any of those. There'd be no more goddamn it hello podcasts. It'd be the gosh darn it goodbye hour.
Gosh darn it good night.
Gosh darn it, I have kids and I don't have time to do this anymore.
No, we definitely would not.
And
children
we could
is
just
not
have
something
the party
I have to.
though, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm down for a
to
dope
celebrate
party.
not having kids.
Children is not something
party.
I have to think about
I
right
love
now.
how much suspense the listener must be in if they want to know how Irish guilt plays into this story.
Anyway, yes, tell
We'll
the
keep you
great
waiting.
pizza debacle story.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is that it's not that I didn't want to go to this baby shower, but it was an all women baby shower.
Yes.
Not up to me if it was, not throwing shade at anybody either. I'm talking myself into a corner here. Oh boy. So I went to the baby shower to move this box, and then I was a little bit closer to my good pal Jeremy's house, where I had parked my car the day before because of the snow.
Because of the snow.
So I Ubered to Jeremy's house and picked up my car and thought, gee, I'm really hungry. So we went and got that Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Ugh.
Well, see, Here's side note. I love the Popeyes chicken sandwich. You hate the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Jeremy,
really
what's the
do.
verdict?
I think it's pretty good. I mean, I just like chicken sandwiches in general. It seems, I see nothing wrong with it.
Everybody should have a little Popeyes chicken sandwich, and it should be just fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan. Nothing can touch that Chipotle sandwich for me. Chipotle
or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
I was
if
racking my
Chipotle rolls out a
brains.
chicken sandwich, I will be first in line. I love Chipotle's chicken.
Yeah, sorry about that. I meant the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Nothing can touch the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
It's totally different.
I went, and like that. There was even a comparison, was just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, because the Chick-fil-A chicken is very
Not to
sweet.
mention, Popeyes makes me feel sick after I eat it. So.
That was the big issue. So Jeremy and I went and got these Popeyes chicken sandwiches. We waited in line for like a long time too. It was packed in there, man. And I
The
ordered
line was
too
almost
much
out the
food.
door.
Because I had 2 chicken sandwiches, and by the time I eat 2 chicken sandwiches, I'm full. But I also got French fries.
Oh.
So I was
And
already
2
super
sides.
full. And then I wasn't expecting to be invited over like after the baby shower, just because I thought it would be a girls only kind of thing, But I wasn't. I was very excited to go over to their house because I like our friends who had the baby.
Ladies and gentlemen who are waiting for the Irish guilt reveal, please hang in there. We will
we're gonna
get
cut to
there.
an ad break. Hold on. The Popeyes chicken sandwich. So we got there and they ordered a pizza. And the polite thing to do is to...
They ordered 2 pizzas.
They ordered 2 pizzas. And the polite thing to do, of course, is to eat the pizza.
Right.
So I had a slice of it. It was delicious. Not going to lie, but I was still feeling very bloated from the Popeyes chicken sandwich.
And let me preface this by stating that although Oliver did tell me he didn't feel well after the sandwiches and then had also explained to me, as one does when they're in a relationship, the details of his bowel movements, he did not mention to me that he was still feeling this way when we were at their house. Continue.
Yes. So they asked me if I wanted another slice. And more carbs sounded like the last thing that I wanted to do. So I said, no, I'm okay.
Then they asked again.
Yes, because occasionally I will, to be polite, try not to eat all the food that is at somebody's house, even if they are offering it to me, because I don't want it to be that I ate, for example, 2 chicken sandwiches at Popeyes, because then Popeye would be angry at me.
Yep. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I do that move all the time at people's houses. I try not to eat too much of their snacks because I'm like, this is a mine.
Right. Well,
I shouldn't eat this.
what it usually is. But in this case, it was that, and also that I did not feel well.
Yep.
But you also a lot of times clock me on turning down extra food.
Yeah, and I think that you do it because you're trying to be polite, but knowing that I come from a very Italian household in which we do not take no for an answer when offering people food. I'm not saying that's only an Italian thing, but it's what I know to be an Italian thing. And they kept offering it to you and you kept declining. And the thing is, I think at this point in our relationship, we're coming up on our almost 3-year anniversary. I think that at this point in our relationship, I kind of know when you're doing things to be polite, and you had your polite no voice on.
Because I didn't want to say no, I don't want any pizza. How dare you?
But I thought you might have said, if you were still not feeling well, which again I didn't know. No, I ate before I came here. I'm kind of full, blah blah blah. But those words did not come out of his fucking mouth. All he just kept saying, no, I'm okay. No.
Well, the issue with that is that I'd already eaten a slice of pizza, so the time to decline.
Stop feeding you
the time to decline was
That's
over.
What we do.
So you explained that to me after, to which I explained, yes, the Italians want to feed you, but the Irish then have to go home and feel extremely guilty for accepting anything. Yeah, so that was the story that came up in the car because we were talking about Irish guilt already.
I gotcha.
Because anytime that the Irish feel anything, we do have to stop and think about how we need to die for Ireland before we are ever truly settled, because that is when the guilt will go away.
That is true. I have
Will
a
there
lot
ever
of
be a point where
cognitive
Irish-
dissidence because I am Irish and Italian.
What is that like? I only have to deal with one
Well,
side.
I'm also German, so that negates the both of them. So
Right. No, the Germans, I guess, feel good about themselves.
The Germans are never sorry for anything. So
What is that like?
Hey, what the heck?
sorry, Jer. I'm not sorry. I don't know.
Wait, no, the Germans aren't ever sorry for anything.
That's what I said. Sorry, I'm not sorry.
I'm very sorry for being. I'm guilty.
And
Sorry,
I'm
guys.
Jewish and uncomfortable.
Well, Jewish guilt is a thing too, right?
I did say this, and
Yes, I believe it is.
then I didn't know how to elaborate in the car, and guess what? Still don't.
Do you feel guilty about that?
I guess so. I wouldn't have if we didn't bring it up on the podcast.
Oh boy, the suffering.
There's so much suffering.
Wow, can you believe it took 16 minutes to tell that story?
Oh, I can believe it.
And the punchline, it really is the equivalent of like somebody telling you like a story that leads up to it. And then I found a penny on the ground and then I kept it.
Yep.
But you know, that's what podcasting is, I suppose.
Is it?
Well, if you're an interesting person with stuff going on, it's not. But me, I clearly just feel Irish guilt and eat Popeye's chicken sandwiches.
Yep.
And that is, and also I like Spider-Man.
I love sandwiches.
Why did Spider-Man have to get brought up just now?
Well, I was going to segue into what we were going to do on today's show.
Segway was about as subtle as a fucking train, but let's go on.
What does that mean?
I
It
don't know.
means that it wasn't a segue. It was a blunt turn
I like
to talking about Spider-Man. Yeah.
You've hit us on the Hangout show. Every show except for this one has had a major topic that we had to talk about for a long time. We're going to try to keep the Spider-Man talk as brief as possible. Where's my camera? It's right here. You know, this bit where we put things on the table works a lot better when we have the wide to cut to.
Yeah.
Now I just have to lift them up. I'm worried about Spider-Man today because Sony recently put out their trailer for Morbius with Jared Leto. And I just want to start, you know, and I don't want to go too into detail with it because I want to make a separate video about it. But there are a couple things that like I've thought about since this trailer came out that, you know, make me really sad. First of which being just, you don't read any comic books. Do you?
No.
Have you ever heard of Morbius?
No.
Do you know what a Morbius is?
You keep saying Morbius, and I'm in my head. I'm seeing Lawrence Fishburne.
Morpheus.
Yes, correct. Morpheus and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Those are the two things that come into my head when I hear the word Morbius.
So
Now
now
you've
put them
based-
together and then forget about all of it.
Okay. And then I also started thinking it's supposed to be...
Take them, put them together in your hands, crumple them up, toss them in the trash.
Yep.
We're talking about Morbius.
Then I'm thinking to myself, is it also supposed to be something more like Morbius, Morbid, which is about death? I know he dies and he comes back because he's a vampire. I would not have known this had you not said it.
He's actually called Morbius the Living Vampire. How the fuck does that work? I don't fucking know.
I don't know. That sounds like jumbo shrimp. That is an oxymoron to me.
It was
The living vampire.
They were on it a
I know
lot
the
of
little
LSD
vampire.
when they made him up. So
That means nothing.
Are we talking about the little vampire with Jonathan Lipnicki?
Yeah, actually, he's going to be in the post-credit scene.
I don't know what the living vampire is supposed to fucking
what was
mean.
that guy's
That
name?
means
Jonathan
nothing.
Finland?
The
Jonathan
living
Lipnicki.
vampire?
Jonathan Lipnicki.
Yeah, who's actually brolic and swole as hell now as an adult.
Oh.
So if you want to
So not
up
so
your
little
computers and
anymore.
Google Jonathan Lipnicki and look at what he looks like now, dude is ripped.
Yeah, why don't you send that over here, you know, for research.
Yeah.
I don't know how to spell this name.
L-I-P L-I-P-N-I-C-K-I. Go to images.
I've searched things before.
For some reason it doesn't want me to.
Somebody Facebook message him to me. Audio listeners, go fuck yourselves. Honestly.
Or just go Google a picture.
This
of Jonathan
picture looks
Lipnicki.
photoshopped.
Which one?
This one. Whenever my computer decides that
Mine's
I
not
clicked
working
on it.
either.
Well,
So that's the
best
so-
I can do is this GIF from
The internet in this room has never been
yeah.
It's
I would,
never
most
been our
desirable.
friend. I guess I'm just gonna send it to yourself because I'm on your Facebook right now.
all right, well, send
There it
I
is.
gotta see this.
Nothing is working.
Yeah, all I really got is this nice GIF of cats.
What?
Oh my god! Please.
Can we have one podcast that we don't talk about cats?
Yeah, you guys thought it was gonna be Spider-Man.
Oh,
but it's-
Jeremy, he's got a really big Jewish star tattooed on his side.
that was
Oh.
not what I thought you were going to say. Just,
He's got a
I like
really
that
big
you called
Jewish
out Jeremy too. Ooh, Jeremy, he's
I don't know.
hung as shit.
He's Jewish.
He's the Jews. Wow.
Well,
He's a really buff
Jeremy, I
Jew.
thought she was gonna be talking about his dick for a minute because I heard he's got a.
Jeremy, did your head go there? Because
Well,
mine
'cause you-
didn't.
It did not
the
actually.
phrase "he's got a really big" and then you stopped, and I missed really that. I didn't quite register that you were talking to Jeremy, and then I put it all together in my head, and I thought,
I know a really buff Jew. His
I
name.
know a couple really buff Jews.
His name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's a wrestler now. That's it.
Is it
We went to.
Friedman
It's Friedman.
or- Okay.
Yeah. Maxwell Jacob Friedman. He's on a wrestle show now. We went to high school together. We sang together. One time.
Well, you guys were in the shit, huh?
Yeah. One time I was sitting at lunch with my friends and one of them was completely turned around, right? You following me?
Oh, I'm following you, Jeremy.
And Max came down and sat down with us.
He does have a Jewish star tattoo.
I wouldn't have said it if it wasn't true.
Max came down and sat with us. And then the person that was turned around said something bad about Jews. I don't know why. And then Max goes, "What's so funny about being Jewish?" And this guy turns around and sees Max, this enormous fucking guy with a Jewish star necklace, and was very scared of Max. Anyway, this is my Maxwell Jacob Friedman appreciation hour where I talk about. I know that guy that's like kind of famous. Can you guys relate?
He does get retweeted by Joe Manganiello a lot.
I have no idea who the fuck that is.
He plays Flash Thompson in the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh.
Yep. Also was going to be Deathstroke. This is Jonathan Lipnicki right here, by the way.
Yeah.
On the left, he looks like I probably
Like
have
a little
seen him before,
vampire.
like the little vampire.
He was also in Jerry Maguire and Stuart Little.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's going to be in Morbius, the living vampire.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm sorry that I derailed us to Jonathan Lipnicki. I do
That's fine.
apologize for that.
That's okay.
Y'all,
but-
wrestling is boring. Anyway,
What?
I was just thinking about my friend.
Yeah, no,
Max.
my Spider-Man segue was subtle as a train, but that was
I'm just thinking about my friend Max, who's a wrestler. And I watch his wrestle show because I support my friends, but I don't know. Wrestling's boring. Have you ever watched wrestling?
Theo.
Yeah,
my
I
little
have,
brother is
unfortunately.
really into wrestling.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it sucks.
I once bought our good friend Marco a monthly subscription to WWE, and they constantly email me, no matter how many times I unsubscribe, that I actually think that it's like a scam on their website and I want to report it, because I don't know how many times I've unsubscribed to their emails and they do not stop emailing me. And the frequency at which they email me is absurd. And that's why I hate wrestling. Anyway.
One time I applied to edit the WWE podcast. They said no, so I don't like wrestling either. But look at me now. God damn it, hello.
Talk about
God
wrestling on our
damn it.
podcast.
Hello.
I'll do my own goddamn WWE podcast. First, I have to know any of the players. Is that what they're called? Players?
Wrestlers probably.
Fighters. I know John Cena.
John Cena.
Ooh,
But
you
we
have
don't
a-
like John Cena.
No, we
I
hate
don't.
John Cena.
I do not like John Cena.
Now, do we hate John Cena or Steven Tyler more, though?
I mean, it depends. John Cena didn't spit on me, but he was just kind of rude.
Yeah, so,
You tell me.
Has anybody had like a pleasant rich people experience here?
I've never met a famous person.
Oh, I told you I met Ben Stein when I was at 15 and it was my
Ferris
birthday.
Bueller?
Yes, Bueller. That Ben Stein.
That's so cool.
I met him on my 15th birthday. He in Manhattan. He was super nice. In a way that the guy that would say Bueller would be nice. He asked me how old I turned. Yeah, so boring. He asked me how old I turned. I told him I was 15, and he said he was 15 a long time ago. And he told me that he hoped that I have a happy birthday and had a good rest of my night. And I thought that was nice.
That's awesome. That's like such
That
like
is nice.
an old dad thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's cool.
I've actually met a fair amount of
Gerard
celebrities.
Butler too, right?
I met Gerard Butler because he was riding his bike outside of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and he was getting pulled over by the cops. Because it's illegal to ride your bike outside of St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan.
That rhymed.
Yeah. So I met him. I didn't really meet him. I was standing probably as close as I am to Jeremy right now. And my cousins didn't know who he was. So I said, I'm pretty sure that's Gerard Butler. And he looked over at me and he heard me say it. And then he just kind of gave me one of these. And I was like, hi. And because he was talking to the cops, so I wasn't gonna. Yeah, but they didn't give him a ticket or anything. They were like, "Oh shit, it's Gerard Butler." I've met a lot of people. I met Jesse McCartney when I was younger. Well, I mean, I say younger. I was 18, but
that's cool too.
Yeah,
especially if you were a fan of his music.
Yeah,
that's
I actually won a contest, which is how I got to meet him.
I know this story, but tell it again.
So you want to hear one of the most 2000s things you can hear?
Yes.
Okay, so I went to the Z100 winter concert pre-show because that was a thing that they used to do. I had tickets to that, and Lady Gaga performed. This was really right before Lady Gaga blew up. She had just put out Just Dance because it was 2008, I want to say. She had just put out Just Dance. She was at this concert. She was another one that she walked right past me and I said hello to her. She said hello to me. Then she went on stage and pre-performed, which was kind of cool. Because I'm a huge Gaga fan now. I love her.
Me too, man.
So
she's great.
In this pre-show, this Z100 pre-show thing, it was kind of a hangout, kind of a concert. There would be people going on and performing, but in between that, there were all these different booths and you could play all these different games. So one of the games was a texting game because this is back when everybody had to use T9 on their phones because we didn't have iPhones and everybody had an iPhone back in 2008. And they had a texting competition to see how fast you could text. And I am notorious for being a fast typer, a fast talker. Obviously, you hear me talking now, and a fast texter. So I entered the contest and I ended up making it to the finals, and it was me and one other person. And the prize was that you would get a pass to meet Jesse McCartney. And that was a big deal because he was one of the main performers. And it was 2008, so I really love Jesse McCartney. And the tiebreaker between me and this other person was that they had to sing She's No You by Jesse McCartney, which I love that song. And you needed to know all the lyrics. And guess another thing that Brittany's really good at is knowing song lyrics. So I was able to sing every song lyric. I smoked the other person in this competition. I got my passes, I won, and I got to meet Jesse McCartney. I can send you over that picture too if you want. I should have been doing it while I was telling the story.
I would love that.
But yeah, that was my Jesse McCartney experience. But I'm gonna get that picture for you while you guys chat.
Yeah, I've got 3 celebrity experiences.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is really cool, especially when you consider who it is and who I am as a person. And that was when I met Stan Lee as a very young kid. Which I feel like a lot of people have their I met Stan Lee at this time and he did this thing, which that's really makes me happy that pretty much everybody has a positive Stan Lee story.
Yeah.
Isn't this thing on the wall here above me?
That is that thing on the wall.
Grab that off the wall. It'll come right off.
All right.
So I met Stan Lee because my father is a New York City fireman. And the mural on the front of his firehouse when I was growing up was I can say it. It was Spider-Man putting a firefighter in a web. I just didn't want to say it if it was still up. I don't want to single it out, but it's not still there. So it was Spider-Man putting a firefighter in a web, and they were making a Stan Lee documentary called True Believer, and they went to the firehouse just to shoot the mural, and Stan actually came, and I got to meet him. I shook his hand.
That's fucking awesome.
It was dope. And then the best thing, hold on, pass me that.
Oh, okay. I was holding it up.
So this is signed by Stan. It says to Oliver, this way. Sorry, guys. From Stan Lee. It's framed in comic book characters that I drew when I was a little kid. I've had this for a long time. And he wrote me a letter. I don't know where the letter is, because I wrote him a thank you, like, for the autograph, as like a first grader.
Yeah.
And he took the time to write a whole letter back to me saying, like, thank you for your letter.
Incredible, yeah.
That's great.
I mean, that's my best celebrity story, especially considering, how much that guy's work means to me. Then I met Dennis Leary once. That was really cool. Again, through the fire department, because when he was filming Rescue Me, he was filming in real New York City firehouses. So I have two really positive celebrity experiences, and then there's my history with Steven Tyler.
Tell us about your history with Steven Tyler.
So Alex Rabinowitz and I have a long history with Steve because for a long time...
You guys are on a first name basis now.
Oh yeah, me and Steve, well, we hate each other. Actually, probably Steven Tyler doesn't know who I am. Maybe he remembers that kid that he spat on. I don't know.
Who the fuck knows?
Alex Rabinowitz and I, who is actually in our new sketch, which you should go watch. I'm not going to pump it any more than that. The link's in the description. But our good friend Alex and I were at Disney World at the same exact time as Steven Tyler. We waited online for Rock and Roller Coaster at the same time as him and got on the ride at the same time. Not in the same car. That would have been dope to ride the Steven Tyler ride with Steven Tyler. But, it's too bad. And I always thought that was a really cool thing until a couple months later, I was with Alex again, and we were in New York City, and we see this, like, a couple cars going down the street, like limos and stuff. It looked like a guy with, like, real security. So, like, this must be somebody important, Right. I'm thinking it's, like, a politician or, like, a Broadway actor, somebody, like, C-list famous, But I guess Steven Tyler's window was down because Alex saw it and goes, that was Steven Tyler. And I look at him and I go, that was not Steven Tyler. He goes, I bet you anything that was Steven Tyler. And there was a traffic light up ahead. So I told him, like, let's run down. Let's see, because he's going to have to stop at the light. We sprint down this street and wind up next to Steven Tyler's car. And he had that little dog with him, the white dog. Look in the window, and Alex goes, are you Steven Tyler? And he nods, cocks his head back, and spits at us. Which, I mean, it's a story now, but the total opposite of what I was, I mean, like, I could see being annoyed that two kids chased you down to this light.
Yeah, I mean, you're in your car trying to get somewhere, and then two fucking kids run up, and they're like, "Are you Steven Tyler?"
Right? Like, imagine if, like, you got, like, "Are you Brittany Spears?" Do you, like? I'd be annoyed for sure. I can see that. Would I spit at them?
No.
That's an extreme reaction.
Now, to be fair, I did take a picture of him sitting in the car, but I don't think he saw that. So, I mean, if he did, maybe that's why he spat at me.
I still think that that's not a very good reason to spit at someone. As someone who has also been spit at, there's no good reason.
Did you get spat at by a famous person?
I got spat at by a child. Because I work at a camp most summers, and a child spat at me one time.
Yeah, I'm sure that wasn't fun.
No. Oh, I got so mad at that kid.
I've probably been spat at a couple times.
I sent you over that picture in case you want to show them.
Yes, I absolutely do. Is it on Facebook?
Yes, it is on Facebook.
All right, we're going to take a look at this Jesse McCartney picture really quick.
And this is the picture from when I met him at the meet and greet. So
Jeremy, come on over here.
It's official. I also sent you the picture of me winning the pass.
I'm going to throw this up on here. I just don't want.
Yeah, you want to see like one of the most 2008.
Hold on a sec, because I don't want anybody to get doxxed here.
That means.
I don't want your personal information, obviously, on the podcast.
Whatever.
All right, here we go. Throw that down here.
Oh,
And
are you telling me my ass was on the camera?
Oh, yeah, no, I am telling you that, yeah. Here's Brittany with Jesse McCartney.
Hey.
Way to go. Look at that. There he is.
Yeah.
And there's you. Who are these people?
Oh, that's my friend Elodie and my friend Izzy. Hi, Elodie and Izzy.
Oh, they made the podcast. Way to go.
Yeah.
Where's Jesse? Go.
Wait, you gotta go back.
Oh, I gotta go back.
You're going the wrong way.
Where's Jesse? There he is.
There
Wow.
he is.
What was he like in person?
He was very nice. I mean, it was a meet and greet, so it's not really like the same thing as like kind of like casually running into a celebrity. Have you ever done a meet and greet with a celebrity?
No.
No.
Okay, so
Oh, no, that's a lie. Giancarlo Esposito at Comic-Con.
okay. Well, imagine somebody's being paid to meet you and they have to meet 1,000 other people just like you. And that's what a meet and greet is like. So that is genuine as you could imagine.
I mean, you did get lucky, though, because...
I did. Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying that I didn't.
I mean, he was still nice to you, right?
Yeah, he was super sweet. I mean, if it was like the type of thing that you had to like pay for it, I probably would have had to have paid upwards of $100 to meet him. So it was a cool gift. You know, it was a cool prize to win. I was proud of myself for winning it. I loved him. I was a big fan. So it was really nice. He was a little different than I thought he would look in person. You could definitely tell he was wearing a lot of makeup. You could also tell that he probably had some acne like that, which like I'm not trying to like put Jesse McCartney on blast.
You never think of celebrities.
But like, yeah, you just don't think of it. It's just like something that I noticed. So I noticed the powder on his face to cover up the acne, and I noticed, the hair was darker. So I also think that he dyed his hair, which was interesting. Because in the picture, he can't be much older than me. He's probably only in his early 20s. So to see him looking a little manufactured like that, I thought was a little strange, but I still thought that he was very cute, and I was very happy to meet him.
You know, I'm just looking at him now. He's aged really well too.
Now? Oh, I want to look him up.
He looks good. Here he is.
I'm a fucking idiot. I said earlier I've never met a celebrity before.
Oh yeah, he's so pretty.
You met the guy.
I was the guy?
You know. I
was on the Late
list
Show
man.
with David Letterman.
That's who's the guy.
That's
I
right.
forgot.
Tell us that story, Jer.
You got to be on camera first there, kid.
And then I have to close
true.
out this We Met Celebrities with the best one, and I'll try to pull up a picture while we do that.
I was on the Late Show with David Letterman. My aunt was an assistant director for David Letterman for like a very long time. At least as far as like I'm aware. And so he does these for his Halloween episodes. He has kids come on and dress as the most ridiculous costumes, and they come to his house. It's a set. I'm sorry to part the curtain like that, but it was a set the whole time. And he gives them ridiculous Halloween favors. Would you call it?
Treats?
Halloween treats?
Yeah, it's not trick or favor, it's trick or treat.
Anyway, because my aunt worked on the show, I got to be one of those kids one time, and I was dressed up as Donald Trump's hair, and I met David Letterman on TV. I
so wish you had this clip still.
I did. I literally just sent it to you on Facebook, actually. If you check your Facebook.
Oh my God, I need
David
to watch
Letterman.
this.
The treat that he gave me was... He gave me a shit ton of packets of duck sauce.
Yeah, you want to talk about pulling the curtain back, Jeremy. When you told me that you didn't get to keep that.
Yeah, I didn't. So, I mean, a lot of them were more than duck sauce, so I get why you couldn't keep those. But I walked off to the side of the set, and there was a woman that was like, put the duck sauce in the bin. And I was like,
Give it to me
like,
now.
it's duck sauce. And they were like, you can't keep it. You have to put it in the bin. And I probably wouldn't still have it to this day because that would be fucking gross.
Is this the link
But
here that you just sent me on Facebook?
It should be DD, whatever.
I'm downloading it. That's why.
Oh, whoops, my bad. well, yeah.
I don't want 2 MOVs.
But
Cancel.
I can't believe I forgot I met David Letterman on TV. Not that he's like a huge celebrity for our demographic.
I love David Letterman, but I like stand up late night, so
he's not a huge celebrity for our demographic, but I still think that's fucking cool.
No, it's very cool.
I think it's interesting that like you were by coincidence Donald Trump's hair and how like still relevant that is. Wow, they've been making that joke for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump has been in the public eye for a very long time.
Oh, for sure. Especially
that's
here
part
in
of his
New
whole
York.
thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, so I have sent you now over the
I got
final
it right
one,
here.
but don't put it up yet because I want it to be a big reveal. But if you know me, you know that this is pretty much my only claim to fame.
Yeah, you and Jeremy are racing on the Wi-Fi. Jeremy's got his Donald Trump hair, and you've got
Those photos.
Yep.
There should be a picture of me somewhere on Facebook. I could try that instead.
I was going to say, if you have the video, then
I want to
definitely
show that
play the
video
video.
of Jeremy.
I 100% want to see it because I have
I
not
remember
seen this video.
when I told you this. I don't remember. We were talking about late night shows, and we were talking over Skype in high school, and I was I said like, oh yeah, I've been on David Letterman before, and you freaked the fuck out.
Yeah, because you brought it up so casually, and I forget what the context was. I mean, I wouldn't have like freaked out if you just said like, yeah, no, I was on David Letterman. But I guess that is exactly what I did, huh?
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I've also been in. I mean, like this is less interesting to probably the layman, but like I've been in the editing room too because of my aunt for David Letterman.
I like stuff like that.
I went to the Fox 5 editing room, and then I met Gavin DeGraw there as well. That was because of Gab Musto. She hooked me up with her neighbor who works for Fox. Fox and Friends, that's what it was, Fox and Friends. And then we got to meet Gavin DeGraw, and then go backstage in Fox and Friends and go and be in the entire studio. I have videos and pictures of that too, but that's not nearly as interesting.
So we'll have to drop the video into this as well. But let me scrub through because I have the video of Jeremy meeting David Letterman.
Oh, here I could probably get to the point faster.
Here let me throw it up right here. This is what I'm looking at, what I'm working with here. Oh, there you are. Hold on. Let's he's in there. There he is, the funny man, David Letterman himself. Visual listeners, are you? Here's Jeremy on David Letterman, dressed as Donald Trump's. Wow,
It's wonderful. I don't think we have. Do we have audio right now?
I
we
can't
don't.
see the
You're gonna
whole
have
thing,
to
but this is
splice this
fucking
thing
great.
in.
He called me the scariest costume he had seen all day.
Well, you know, maybe he still would.
That's side by side.
There's the two. There's you and Uncle Dave. Oh man, look at this kid. Wow, that's my very good friend Jeremy on the CBS.
I got
late
paid
night
for
show.
that.
What an institution! How much you make?
Oh, you think I remember? This was like second grade. I don't remember how much I made, but I got paid like royalties, I guess, if they ever aired the episode a second time, which of course they wouldn't because it was a special for Halloween.
Do you remember how hard we had to dig to find this thing too? Like, I believe you and I spent like a whole night just looking through YouTube to try to find this.
It didn't exist online anywhere, but my sister, who also was on David Letterman twice, actually, for the same thing, she was a Rubik's Cube and a divider in a supermarket. Fun fact, I, for a very long time, didn't know what those were supposed to be called because I guess divider is such a complicated word. So my family just always called them the Danielle.
I just found out that they're called dividers right now when you said that.
We always called them...
What the fuck did you think it was called?
The splitty bar.
Well, I always call them...
Okay.
My brain always calls them Danielles because of my sister. The fuck... I had a thought that I was thinking, so my sister Danielle found a website of a guy that was like, oh yeah, I've got like all David Letterman on tape.
Hold on. Are you about to do the thing that you tell me and Brittany not to do every episode?
I don't know.
Did you just imply that you stole these David Letterman shows?
I did not steal.
Oh, shit.
No, there was a website that some guy was like, I have...
Uh-oh,
I'm just telling a story of my
Jeremy.
sister. She was like, I found... There was a website where the guy was like, I have like them all on tape and I upload a lot of them. If you have a request, I could put it on my website. I don't know. So that's how I have access to it.
Jail.
I'm not going to jail.
Fucking whoops. But there it is. How wholesome. Look what you grew into, and you still have just as much hair.
I had less hair back then.
Yeah, but here
I think that was actually before I started growing.
It's a multi-level joke because you're covered in hair here, Jeremy.
It's actually straw. It's straw. If you want to know, if you want me to part the curtain a little bit more, I had less hair back then because I never grew it out to donate it to a charity organization. That's weird.
Saint Baldrick's.
St. Baldrick's.
Nice. And then we have our other favorite celebrity cameo in our in our lives, I suppose. Just real quick, your full name, of course, is Brittany M. Spear.
Yes. Spear.
Very
Spear.
close to Britney Spears.
Yep.
I must be the first person to ever say that.
Holy shit! I never noticed.
You know, there are people that have known me for a very long time. A lot of the times it's through work, and like they just know that my name is Brittany. They've seen on the wall that my name is Brittany Spear, and they never like kind of put it together until they like say it out loud. But yes, my name is Brittany Spear. I know that there's no S. I know I don't look like her. I know that we're not even the same age, even though somehow people think that I was named after her. She was 9 when I was born. Not a thing. My parents just like the name. My parents cannot explain why they named me what they named me. So it definitely wasn't to name me after Britney Spears because they don't even know why they named me Brittany in the first place. I could have been Heather or I could have been Kristen, but I am Brittany Spear. And when I was a kid, when I was 11 or so, I met Miss Brittany Spears herself.
Here's that pic right
and
here.
There's that pic. Well, yep, there's me with the brown hair facing her, and she's talking to me.
There you guys
and
are.
There you go. I was going to say, there's a second pic, and there's a cameo by my cousin Brenda right in front of me. And we met Miss Brittany Spears because it was right after 9/11, and she was doing a benefit concert for the families who were affected by 9/11, so the victims of 9/11. And my family was invited to go, and my aunt took me because she knew how much of a big Britney Spears fan was. And then part of the perk was that we were supposed to have this really big meet and greet with her. There was probably, you can't really see it in the picture, but there was like 15 or 20 girls there that all really wanted to meet her. And because of complications that they had with the show and because of booking and scheduling conflicts, the meet and greet got turned into meeting Britney in a hallway. And I was the only person that actually got to talk to her.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I don't know how it happened. I don't know if I pushed myself through or I was just right place, right time. I probably pushed myself through because I was a little bee like that. I still am. And I really just wanted to meet her. And I just remember it as she was standing right in front of me. She was just saying hi to everybody because she couldn't really stay. I could tell she felt bad. But you know, they really, you know, celebrities aren't always at liberty of what they want to do. They're kind of being pushed and pulled in different directions, which I understand. I just remember looking at her and saying, "Do you know what my name is?" Somehow she would fucking know.
Have you heard of me?
And she goes, "What?" And sweet as pie, this girl. And she goes, "What is your name?" And I said, "Brittany Spear." And she was elated by that. I mean, like, she was laughing. She told her manager, who a lot of people actually could even recognize from that first picture.
Bring her back.
Yeah, that was like her big manager at the time. That guy behind
this
her.
guy right here. Oh,
yeah.
he's in the other photo too.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She told her manager. She was just so thrilled. So in that conversation, in that first picture, that's what we're talking about. And then the second picture was the only picture that any of us have with her. Is that one of me standing right next to her?
That's incredible though. Because I mean, as a kid, you talked to her in person.
I did. Like face to face, closer than you and I were. And then it's so funny because my one other cousin said a few months or years later that she remembers watching something on TV, and it was an interview with Britney Spears, and she mentioned having met a fan who had the same name as her.
Get out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So she even mentioned on another show that she met me, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is
we gotta find that. Jeremy, contact that guy.
Yeah, good luck.
Get that guy.
But yeah, so that was my big thing. I love those pictures. And I'm not in any way, I don't get a lot of likes on Instagram, but those pictures I have got over like 500 likes on them, which is a lot for me. They were trending. It was trending for like 2 weeks straight, those pictures. So if you went on Instagram and you searched Britney Spears, this was the first picture to come up.
was Brittany Spears and Brittany Spears.
Yeah, it was a big deal. I had people who run like Britney Spears like fan pages, like reposting these pictures. I mean, like I know it's stupid, but
No, that's
awesome.
No, it's really
Like, I
cool.
love stuff like that. Yeah, that's cool.
And
That's
I think
so
the coolest
funny.
part is that you could see her wearing this NYPD sweater in the first picture, and I thought that was really cool. She did seem very genuinely affected and and upset about what happened in 9/11, and that's why she did the concert. And it just felt nice, like she was. It seemed very, very heartfelt and very, very genuine. So I appreciated that, at least when I was younger.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's so funny.
That's such a good story.
Though,
Yeah.
to imagine you're famous and some kid comes up to you and goes, "Do you know who I am?
Do you know who I
Do you
am?
know have you heard of me?"
Because I've heard of you. Fun fact, I actually, when we first met, I didn't know your last name because we worked together, before we were dating or anything else. And when I first met you, I obviously didn't know your last name. And then you added me on Facebook, and I actually thought that you just had Britney Spears like as your name, and I was like, I wonder why it's not Britney Spears, it's just Britney Spears. And then you gave me your debit card one day to go buy something, food probably.
Probably. I used to feed you constantly, and I still do.
Yeah, and I remember, to this day, I remember looking at you, Britney Spears.
Yeah. See, I just said that it's weird because people who have known me for so long, you just don't like put it together.
Well, I had made the connection from your name on Facebook, but I had never I just thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And now years later, it's such a big part of my life too.
Yeah, but I like to hit people with "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time." But I like to hit people with, "All right, yeah, it's cool. My name is Brittany Spears," but then I always say my grandfather's name, however, is John Lennon, and that to me is even cooler. I mean, John Lennon is John's a very common first name. Lennon is a common enough last name, but that I get to say that my name is Brittany Spears and my grandfather's name is John Lennon. It's pretty cool for me, at least.
Want to hear a fun story?
That is
about
very
Jeremy
cool.
Hearing that for the first time, that I can tell you right now, Jeremy doesn't remember.
What?
I have no idea what you're about to say.
One time, Jeremy and I work on videos usually every Tuesday, Thursday night. So I'm usually with Jeremy. And we had gone out to dinner with your grandparents at this restaurant, and we had left something there.
Oh.
And I went to go pick it up, and I walked into the restaurant, and I took Jeremy with me because I was with Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
So I took Jeremy into the restaurant, and I said to the woman, like, "Hey, I left something here this weekend," and it was and she goes, "Oh, what was the name on it?" And I said, "John Lennon." And she gave me the bag, and then we're walking out, and I'm like expecting Jeremy to be like, "John Lennon," but he didn't because he was texting. And I got in the car, I go, "So you're not going to say anything about John Lennon?" And he looks me dead in the eyes and goes, "Who?"
Oh my God.
Well, and he was wearing a fucking Beatles shirt.
I was probably wearing my John Lennon shirt, which is one of my favorite shirts.
Who? No, I mean, you were texting. It was just you weren't paying attention.
Yeah. I remember that, if only because I was talking a lot about Detective Pikachu because that trailer had just come out. And I had a lot of thoughts about that trailer.
And then we had a very frustrating drive home because the GPS would not navigate us. Anyway, thanks for watching this Morbius show.
Oh, I mean, we could still talk about
We
Morbius.
didn't talk the slightest about the
We
thing you
did
wanted to
not
talk about.
get to Morbius.
Yeah, but fuck it.
Not even a little bit
So,
did we talk about what you wanted to talk about.
Have you guys ever
If you
met a
want to hear
vampire?
about Irish guilt, though, we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, let's
What
talk
the
about vampire
fuck are we
guilt.
going to do?
No, we still got 7 minutes before we hit the hour.
Okay.
Yeah, but nah.
God damn it.
God damn it. Hello.
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 Honestly, I think talking about celebrity interactions is pretty cool. I met, like I said, a good amount of celebrities. I'm trying to think of who else I met. I met the Jonas Brothers. That was cool. And
That's
that
cool. I
was-
mean, you have a long history with the Jonases, though, through friendship.
Yes, through a friend. A very, very, very sweet person in my life. But yeah, she introduced me to them, and yeah, they were nice too. I mean, it was a very short.
We can't blow up who it is.
No, I'm not going to.
Okay.
It was a very short meeting with them, but it was a while ago. I was probably 18 or 19 years old, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
I used to know. This is random. Did you guys ever see the second Chipmunk movie?
Yes.
The one with
I used
Jason
to-
Lee? You know
I've
that?
not seen any of them, but go on.
I used to really like the Chipmunks when I was a kid.
Okay, not the animated one, the live action ones.
I know.
Oh. Okay.
When he says when he was a kid, he means like last year.
So in the second Chipmunk movie, the movie starts off with the Chipmunks at a concert. Do you recall this?
Vaguely.
Okay, it starts off with the Chipmunks at a concert, and the band performing in that concert was also friends of mine.
Wow.
Yes.
Ooh.
So I used to be very big in the music scene when I was younger. So yeah, that band was called Honor Society. They were friends of mine.
Oh, I know them. I've listened to them with you.
And they were also their song was the main credit song in that movie Band Slam. Did you guys see that one?
Nope.
No.
Never even heard of it.
Vanessa Hudgens surprisingly was in it. Her name was Sam, but there was a 5 in the middle of it. I don't know why. But
Five of them.
yeah, it's a 5 of them.
Speed them.
Yeah. So they had the end credit song in that movie, but Honor Society, yeah, that was they were friends of mine. This is a really like D-roll stuff, but I'm just trying to think.
You want to hear a good one?
Emily Osment was in my other friend's band music video. She was the lead girl in my friend's band's music video.
Did you know that Marco was almost in that Fall Out Boy video, but also he's not in it at all?
He's not.
I don't.
It wasn't him.
It was his friend.
But why wouldn't he just tell him it was us?
I don't fucking know.
You want to hear a really good one though? My dad has met a good handful of celebrities.
My mom has met a ton of celebrities because she works for American Airlines.
My father's a New York City fireman, so they run into him occasionally. My
Celebrities
dad,
always starting fires.
yeah. Oh, well, arson is really popular over there, so in celebrity world. No, my dad met who's the model? Kate Upton.
Kate Upton. Oh.
My dad met Kate Upton and asked her, as a joke, do you think I have what it takes to become a model? Which, not as funny if you don't know my dad, but
But if you do,
Oh my God.
and he also met Martha Stewart. In the way
and he insulted her, right?
He walked up to her and said, "Boy, you suck."
Oh my God.
Which is, it's my favorite thing to think about, how jarred you must be by that interaction.
Oh my.
You suck.
We also over the summer met William Ryan Key, or as many people just know him as Ryan Key from Yellow Card, the lead singer of Yellow Card.
Let me show everybody that.
I have my picture right here. I'll send it over to you.
I told Mr. William Ryan Key that I listened to Yellow Card.
Yellow Card,
Jeremy,
Yellow Card.
do you like Yellow Card?
I don't actually.
You know Ocean Avenue. Everybody does.
I get okay.
There's a place.
know that one.
You know that one.
Yeah,
I guess
sent you
I
over
don't
my picture on
think
Facebook.
I don't think I've heard a lot of Yellow Card.
Okay, so here's a fun fact about Brittany. First of all, me being 8 years older than you guys means that I grew up at a different time of music than you did. Like pop punk emo was huge. I mean, huge when I was in high school, middle school and high school. The first CD I ever bought myself with my own money was Yellow Card's Ocean Avenue. I was obsessed with Yellow Card. I saw them in concert probably 6 or 7 times. I loved them. I followed them around the city. I literally have a picture on my Facebook of me following them from their meet and greet section to their venue when I was like 18 years old when I went to see them in concert because I loved them so much.
I've got you up next to your picture with them here.
I know. I'm going to be beaming as I am in that picture. To get to meet him after all these years, I don't even care that like yellow card isn't a thing anymore and that people don't like them. You don't know what it meant to me. I almost started to cry. Like, you don't know what it meant to me to meet the person who wrote and created the music that I still love and that I loved, that I, as a like 6th grader, went out and bought with my own money that CD, and how much that meant to me. I used to write the lyrics on my walls in magic marker because I love them so much.
What a 2000s
I
thing,
know.
man.
And so when I got to meet him over the summer, it was hard for me to even verbalize, when I was with him.
See, I was proud of the work I did when I met him.
Yeah.
Because I went right up to this guy, and I love Yellow Card.
Yeah. And we met him
Of course. Who
with
the
Marco,
fuck
our
doesn't?
good friend Marco, and Marco loves Yellow Card also. So it was like a really big deal for all of us.
But I went in, and I met him. I shook his hand. I said, "Hey, man, I listen to Rough Landing Holly like once a week." And he goes, "Oh, cool, me too."
That's funny.
It's great. He probably still remembers that I listen to Rough Landing Holly.
Totally.
I like to think that he
Totally.
does.
100%. That was a good one.
That must one day.
I could talk about these celebrity encounters all day. That's something else.
I told my one. My sister met a celebrity one time.
I got recognized one time as a celebrity. Jeremy knows this story.
I do know this story.
One time.
This story is fucking wild.
I don't know if I've ever told you this story.
I used to get recognized all the time back when in my push play days. Like I used to have just random girls come up to me. She'd be like, "You're Brittany Spears, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." They'd be like, "You're friends with push play?" I'd be like, "Yeah." And they'd be like, "Oh my God, I wanted to meet you." I was like, "Why?" But yeah.
This was a mysterious one. I must have told you this story at one point, but I'll tell it again. When I was 14 or 15 years old, I used to have to walk everywhere. And I was walking to...
It must have been older than that.
But it's over.
No, I must have been 16. 16 sounds right.
Because the way I remember you telling it is that...
Yeah, I'll get there in a minute.
Okay.
So 16, and I'm walking to my job from my parents' house. And my job was at the time a local thing. That I don't want to put on blast, obviously, but it was a local business that a lot of people knew. And I'm walking to the job, and this car pulls up next to me. And here's something you should never do. I didn't have my glasses because I broke them the night before watching Casino.
As one normally does.
Right. So this guy pulls up next to me, and I can't really make out who it is. Side note, I've never actually seen the end of Casino, and I mean, like, I've watched the movie all the way through, but I've actually physically never seen the end of the film because every time I watch it, I fall asleep and my glasses break.
Great.
So actually, physically, I've never seen the end of that movie. But this guy pulls up and sticks his head out the window and goes, "Hey, man, are you going to insert name of the place?" And I thought it was Jeremy,
Which is
because I can't see.
Which is fucking
Oh my
wild because I
God.
still don't have my my driver's
I'm
license.
16 years old. No way Jeremy can be driving a car, So I got in the car naturally. Also, as a side note, it didn't sound like Jeremy.
Probably not.
So, and you'd think at this point that it would be a client from this job, but it wasn't. They drove me all the way there, and I'm getting out, and I said, "Hey, man, I'm Oliver, by the way." And this guy looks me dead in the eyes and goes, "Oh, I know, you're the man. Everyone's been talking about you." And I've never seen him ever since.
That is fucking bizarre.
Isn't it?
It's wild.
And you're lucky you didn't get fucking murdered.
Right?
Yeah.
This
Never get
That could
into a
have
car with
ended
a stranger.
so badly, and you're so fucking lucky that it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, again, 16, thought it was Jeremy driving the car, then assumed it was.
And
By the time I was
that's
in
why-
the car.
Moral of the story, that's why teenagers are stupid.
please
see-
do not get in the car with strangers.
No.
By the time I was in the car, I was just assuming it was somebody from the job. And, like, I couldn't come up with a way to get out, Oh, wow, I got lucky. I really do wonder, though, like, sometimes he must have been somebody from the job, but then, like, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, he could have, like, known somebody that I went to school with or something.
It doesn't matter. You're lucky you didn't die.
No,
the
of
simple
course.
solution
I'm
is that
talking about
everybody
how
had been
he
talking
knew
about
who
you.
I was and why I'm the man and everybody's talking about me.
I don't know.
Well, on that note,
Don't get into cars with strangers, kids. Unless that stranger is William Reinke.
Sure.
Then get in and tell him about Rough Landing Holly.
And on that note,
yes.
stingrays.
Anybody got anything to add?
No. My sister met Bryan Cranston twice. One time she was shaking uncontrollably because of how nervous she was and had him film a video for my dad, whose name is also Brian. And then they met again next week with my dad. And my sister tried to be like, remember me? This is the dad I had you film a video for. And he didn't remember.
That reminds me of when I met Mason Musso, and we just talked about that.
Is that like
shit.
Mitchell Moose?
It's his brother, but it's the lead singer of Metro Station. Yes, Shake It. You all know Shake It.
I didn't just say like, oh, fucking gay. I was referencing the top comment of that video for the longest time for years. For shake it. Back in old school YouTube when this was just rampant, and of course I'm not supporting speaking like this, but the top comment for the longest time on that song was, "This is very fucking homosexual," and I'm okay with that.
Great. Yeah, I met him. I had him record a video, a voicemail. That's right, because video recording wasn't really that prominent. I had him record a voicemail.
You had him record a podcast?
No, a voicemail for my friend Marissa because she couldn't be there and she loved him. Yeah, that was the thing. Oh, and that was the thing. His name was Mason Musso and her name was Marissa Russo. So she thought it was so she thought it was funny, and that was part of it. I'm trying to think of who else I
You guys ever
met.
see the video of the guy recognizing James Gandolfini?
No.
That is a cringy video. So James Gandolfini, it was right before he died too. It was like a couple months. He's in the video. He's getting off of a plane, and there's this guy. And Gandolfini, like, famously did not like being recognized because he would say, like, I'm a big guy. I cannot get out of situations like this. Mm-hmm. I get stuck and I get rushed, which is totally understandable. So he would only meet fans like in an organized setting. So this guy sees him in an airport and runs up to him and is like, Tony, Tony Soprano. And Gandolfini gave him he didn't give him the finger, but he gave him move on. Mm-hmm. And then in the video, the guy starts running at him and goes he whacked me. Tony Soprano whacked me. That must be the most frustrating thing to because especially if you're just getting off of a plane, imagine how pissed off you would be.
Yeah, no, that's
yeah.
I wouldn't be into that at all. Oh, and this is why we got into this. The whole reason
when you met Morbius.
When I met fucking John Cena.
Yeah, send me that picture real quick. We've shown it on the channel before.
We have, because I will not ever let this go. Hold on, you got to give me a minute. Start talking about something else. But
I'll be honest.
To be fair, with this
story again.
With this story, it could have been that John Cena was having a bad day.
There are things that could have been in play here that would excuse the behavior. I understand that, but at the same time, I don't want to excuse it. I just want to hate him. So that's where I'm at with it. I'll get there eventually. Hold on. So here's the story, and you're probably gonna think I'm an asshole for even thinking that he's an asshole for this, but here we are. I was going on a trip on your
favorite rocket ship.
I was going on a trip on a cruise with my cousins. We were flying from New York to Florida. We're in the airport terminal. And we're waiting. It's 6 a.m. The place is packed the fuck out. And all of a sudden I turn to my left and I can see, there's a ton of people. And I see, a big guy sitting with everybody else, in the terminal. And I'm looking at him I was drawn to him because he was a big dude. And I was like, wow, this guy must be a wrestler or a bodybuilder or something like that. And I look like an extra second or two more. And I was like, fuck. I was like, that's John Cena. I was like, my cousins are like, who? I was like, John Cena. I was like, the wrestler, John Cena. And they're like, and my cousins are the type to just like make every situation awkward. So they're like, go say hi to him. Go say hi to him. I was like, I don't want to go say hi to him. They're like, we don't care. Go say hi to him. And I was like,
as a side note, I feel like the best thing to do in a lot of these situations, like for me, just because I don't like images being shattered, is just to kind of be like, yep, I saw him. Onward and upward.
So you think I shouldn't have gone into
No,
hello
I'm
to
not
John
saying
Cena?
that at all. I'm just saying that, like, if I were to run into, like, the first person I think of is, like, Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
I've said this before. If I met Tobey Maguire,
You couldn't go up to him and tell him he's a fucking asshole. You saw Molly's Game.
Well, that's exactly it. He's Spider-Man, and that was such a big part of my childhood that, like, I can't go to this guy and have him be an asshole to me to my face. I have to just, like, if I ever run into him, I'd have to, like, just see him from afar and just be accepting of that, because I don't want that shattered for me, that now whenever I see this movie, I'm going to think about what a fucking dick. You know what I mean? Okay. I feel that way with, like, a lot of my heroes. That's why I'm so appreciative of how nice Stan was, like, in that whole thing, I
almost feel like I don't want to walk up to celebrities if I ever, which I haven't ever seen them, but if I ever see them, I don't want to walk up to them because it's like, I don't know, I'm a human being and I don't like talking to strangers, and I just like, I recognize that
right, of
like
course,
a celebrity,
everybody is entitled to a bad day,
like,
and
you're out living your life, and then you don't necessarily want some rando coming up to you and being like,
right,
hey!
just because of what your job is, and your job happens to be in the public eye, like that.
Right, understandable, but I'm also getting paid millions upon millions of dollars to be in the public eye, so I think there are some things you need to make exceptions for. Anyway,
sure.
So my cousins are egging me on to go and say hi. I'm literally standing like within 4 feet of him, and they're like, go ask him for a picture. Go ask him for a picture. So at that point, I felt very peer pressured, and I walked over and I said, hi, you're John Cena, right? And he looked up at me and he just nodded. So he never once said a word to me in this entire interaction. Just want that to be known. He looked up at me, he nodded, and I said, could I have a picture by chance? And I was polite. If he had said no, I would have understood. I said, would you mind taking a picture? And again, he just, nodded in a way that let me know that we could take a picture. Do you have it up?
Oh, I got it up.
Oh, yeah. So as you can see in said photo, he wouldn't stand up. I am only 5'2", and I had to do a sorority squat to get
for the big man himself, John Cena,
to get in that frame. And we have this very candid slash not so candid.
He's doing this like very forced smile here too. He's doing
like,
the white people smile.
I don't give a shit that this is happening, and this is the most awkward picture in existence. So that was me meeting John Cena.
I fucking love this picture.
It's so stupid. Not to mention my hair is so short and ugly, but
that's not
somebody. And I'm just reading through the comments now, and somebody asked me if he was as good looking in person, and I said he was good looking but not very nice. And they were like, oh, well, it was clearly early. He was probably tired. And then somebody else said, why was he not nice? And then my other friend said, I met him a long time ago myself at a mall meet and greet, and I remember him not being so thrilled either. And I said, exactly. It's not that he wasn't nice, but he just didn't seem too happy.
Well, that's like what everybody says about Bruce Willis, is that like, I am going somewhere with this. It ties into meeting celebrities, but everybody says Bruce Willis is a jerk to his fans. There are people like with stories of like, hey, Bruce, big fan, and him like just ignoring him.
Yeah.
Which it's like you could easily just say, hey, thanks very much.
Yeah.
That's the
end. And just keep it moving.
The end.
Right.
But I will say the only person that I know who has met Bruce Willis is our friend Trish, who used to bartend for him, and she says he was like a sweetheart.
Right.
Oh.
So.
Well, that's what people have told me when I've told them this John Cena story, because apparently he's like the #1 contributor to the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Right.
So I understand that he might fundamentally be a nice person, All I mean is that my interaction with him was less than pleasant.
Everything is going to be situational.
Right. I only have the one experience to recall.
And the thing is, working in the public eye, it's unfortunately the job title is, part of it is that you're not off ever, and that's why maybe a guy like Bruce Willis is nicer to his bartender than someone who sees him on the street. But again, all that it is, hey, how you doing? Thanks.
Right.
And I'm the biggest fucking hypocrite because if it ever happened to me, I would hate it. I would absolutely hate it.
I feel like I'd embrace it, but that's just me.
How could I forget Trish? Trish is famous.
Oh yeah,
our friend Trish is famous.
Yep, she's a Canadian TV star.
What?
She was
on
she's
a Canadian TV star.
She was on Uh-Oh, which was a show that was on like Canada's
Canada Nickelodeon.
It was like Uh-Oh was a game show, and she was Quizmaster Patricia, and she did like a quiz segment.
Yeah, Trish has done a lot of cool stuff. She has her own album.
Interesting.
Trish has done so much. I can't believe I completely
to interview
forgot.
Trish on this show. Jeremy, hook that up for me. I haven't talked to Trish in a while.
I would love that too. I was actually just thinking about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm throwing it out there publicly. Yeah. Also, Trish does like a lot of cool work now too, just online.
Trish has done a lot of cool work.
Just a lot of cool stuff. But Bruce Willis, huh?
Anyway,
and
that's the hour
done.
15 mark, folks. I'm done here.
No podcast for us next week, even though I know these are tapered. But Oliver and I are going to Disney,
which I also kind of wanted to talk about tonight, but
I did too. But
I'm
you know
happy
what?
with the conversation.
We can talk about it when we get back.
That's
realistically, I might put this up while you guys are at Disney. Actually,
so there you go.
I would hope so.
That would be very good timing wise.
So then, yes, there will be a podcast next week. Yeah, I don't know when Jeremy's going to be done with this thing.
And then you can listen to us talk about when we come back from Disney. Because if you're listening to this next week, we'll be there right now.
Having the time of my life.
Fucking lives.
I need it so bad.
So do I.
Good riddance to you.
Good riddance to you.